Once upon a time, nestled between rolling green hills and sun-kissed golden fields, there was a small village. In this village, in a tiny wooden house, lived a poor but kind-hearted boy named Lino. He lived with his grandmother, and though they didn't have much, they cherished every new day and always shared the little food they had with grateful hearts. One crisp morning, Lino ventured into the forest to gather firewood. As he walked deeper among the tall trees, a faint, fragile cry for help reached his ears. He followed the sound and soon found an old woman resting by a fallen tree. She looked tired and very weak. "Please help me," she whispered, her voice barely audible. "I haven't eaten all day." Without a second thought, Lino reached into his pocket and pulled out the only food he had for himself, small piece of bread. He offered it to her with a warm smile. "Please take it," he said gently. "You need it more than I do." The old woman's eyes, which had been dull with exhaustion, suddenly sparkled with a strange light. She accepted the bread, and as she did, she stood up, her back straightening. In an instant, she looked younger, stronger, and full of life. "For your incredible kindness," she announced, her voice now clear and strong, "I will give you a gift." From a basket at her side, she produced a small, simple clay pot. "This is a magic pot," she explained, holding it out to Lino. "When you are hungry, simply say the words, 'Cook, little pot, cook,' and it will fill with delicious sweet porridge. But you must remember this part when you have enough. You must command it, 'Stop, little pot, stop.'" Lino's eyes widened in amazement. He thanked the woman profusely and hurried back home, his heart racing with excitement to show his grandmother their wonderful gift. That evening, their food cupboard was bare. Lino placed the small clay pot on their wooden table and, with a hopeful voice, said, "Cook, little pot, cook." To their utter astonishment, the pot immediately began to bubble and steam, filling up with warm, fragrant porridge. Lino and his grandmother ate until their bellies were full and their hearts were happy. Then Lino remembered the instructions and said clearly, "Stop, little pot, stop." And just like that, the pot stopped cooking. From that day forward, Lino and his grandmother never knew hunger again. The little pot provided for them every single day. But one afternoon, while Lino was out helping a neighbor, his grandmother felt a bit hungry and decided to make some porridge for herself. She confidently placed the pot on the table and said, "Cook, little pot, cook." The pot began its magic, filling with porridge. But when the porridge reached the brim, it didn't stop. It kept bubbling, spilling over the top. The grandmother started to panic. She hadn't paid close enough attention to the second command, "Stop." She cried, but she didn't say the magic words. The pot didn't listen. A river of warm, sweet porridge spilled onto the floor, then flowed out the door and into the street. The villagers stared in disbelief as the porridge river grew, winding through the village square. It filled empty bowls, baskets, and even people's shoes. It was a sweet, creamy, chaotic mess. Just as the porridge was about to flood the mayor's office, Lino returned from his errand. Seeing the sticky situation, he ran to the source of the flood and shouted, "Stop, little pot, stop." Instantly, the magic pot stopped cooking. A moment of silence fell over the village, and then a ripple of laughter began. Soon, the entire village was laughing. Together, they cleaned up the mess, but not before everyone had a bowl or two of the delicious porridge. For the first time in a long time, not a single person in the village went hungry that day. Lino learned a valuable lesson. Kindness can bring wonderful rewards, but it takes wisdom and responsibility to use those gifts well. From then on, Lino used the magic pot carefully, not just for himself and his grandmother, but to share with anyone in the village who was in need. And so, the magic pot brought not only food, but also joy, community, and gratitude to everyone. Thanks for listening to our story today. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more magical tales. See you next time.